talking about a story that we found on Sports Illustrated's website about the problem with baseball, all-star game, best player, and much attention has been drawn to the fact that Mike Trout isn't exactly the most dynamic personality under the sun and doesn't have quite the popularity that maybe a player of his caliber should. We read the quotes from Rob Manfred, who basically explained it, that, look, Trout in particular hasn't been a participant in what we've wanted to do to market him. We want to market him aggressively. We don't want to market anything passively, and he's chosen to do other things with his time. And he's not. He says he's free to do whatever he wants. That's up to him. But if you're going to ask why, this might be an explanation for his less than stellar Q rating, if you will. And we asked whether or not Trout owes it to the sport. We've kind of gone through this a little bit in Detroit because we've had a lot of players of which English is not their first language in multiple sports, the Red Wings, the Tigers, and their popularity. We've talked about their popularity and whether or not it's lacking because English isn't their first language. I mean, even to this day, as beloved as Miguel Cabrera has and has been in Detroit, when we play his sound bites, I've always got that squinty-eyed look on my face trying to figure out what he's saying because I don't quite understand very clearly what he's saying, and it's not his fault. I appreciate him speaking English, but it's kind of hard to understand. So 248-539-9797.
But do you think baseball? I suppose I'd love to know what Miguel Cabrera's Q rating is.
Let's see if I can look that up.
If you went into an elementary school right now in America or middle school and asked them who the best player in baseball is, do you think they'd answer Mike Trout?
No.
But if you ask them who the best player in basketball is,
they would answer Aaron Judge.
They might
say Judge.
Well, in basketball, the kids would probably definitely say LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, right?
Yep.
Those names would be up there. How long would it take before a kid knew a baseball player that wasn't their local team and said Mike Trout?
Well, I think right now it speaks that basketball is probably more popular than baseball.
But does that have anything to do with them marketing their players better?
I don't know.
Or the players themselves marketing themselves better?
I don't know. I guess I'd love to know what the real reason is. There's a disconnect. I mean, is it just the sport isn't?
I think I actually, the more I think about this, the more I think it's almost too much thought is being put into this. I think the sport is too slow for Americans right now, and it's not about marketing. It's that you just don't like baseball as much. That's what I think it is.
I think the sport hasn't really changed.
I'll give you it's the people have changed. I'll give you another player I think they'll say before. They'll say Bryce Harper.
Before Mike Trout?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
As far as the best player in the game, I think in elementary school, I think kids would be way quicker to say Bryce Harper than Mike Trout.
What would your youngest say?
That's a great question. Well, maybe I'll call him and ask him.
Because what is he, 13?
My youngest is 11.
No, sorry.
It's all right. He's 11, and I would bet he says Bryce Harper because he watched the home run derby. He might say Aaron Judge.
So is that okay? So there's a tangible way to do it. Get Mike Trout to do the home run derby.
Yep, that would help.
Right?
Yep.
And this is something that, I mean, look, I'm sure the NBA would love to see LeBron James in the dunk contest.
Without a doubt.
But LeBron James doesn't need to improve his brand, and why bother with it? And he's more concentrated in the game.
The truth is, we have asked this question around the dunk contest in years past, whether or not the best players owe it to the game to participate. We have asked that question.
Yeah, I don't know if we've asked that question, but I mean, I understand where it's coming from. Do players owe it to the game to try to promote it more? And my quick answer is no, and yet I understand the reasons people would want to say yes. If the game is slowly dying, then you're going to want to keep this game going. And if you don't, you look selfish because you're not, particularly someone who's making $30 million a year.
248-539-9797. Quincy in Saginaw. You're on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Quincy. Quincy, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, let me get you off the speaker, man. This phone is running a little crazy right now. And give me a second.
Get us off that speaker. There you go.
Give me 1 second.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Steve, and then we'll get back to you, Quincy. Hi, Steve.
Hey, how's it going, fellas? Thanks for taking my phone call.
Sure.
I just had to bring up the baseball thing in terms of comparing Mike Trout to like the the stardom of King Griffey Jr. When King Griffey Jr. when he was playing or whatnot, his attitude was more or less like he wasn't putting himself in the limelight, but he was kind of like propelled into that way, to be a superstar. You look at all the promotions that he had, the Nike contracts, and a lot of people did think that he was the best ball player when he was playing. And he more or less had that attitude as well, as if he really, didn't want to promote himself, but it was like baseball did. And how do they get that same formula to get for Mike Trout is the big question. I think in other sports, you look at NBA, heck, they got their own award show. They just had the NBA award show. They're more present at not just other, basketball games, but other venues, ESPN, the ESPYs, or whatever the case may be. It just seems as if the NBA is a lot more adapt to that stardom. And your question in regards to asking the youngsters who is the best baseball player now, if you was to ask them who is the best hockey player right now, that would be even a worse question, I would think, because hockey, they really don't even have no stardom like that, best player.
I think they'd probably say Ovechkin because he's top of mind. It's a valid question, though. Is even hockey's best player promoted? And if the answer is Sidney Crosby, the answer is yes. He gets promoted like crazy, much to the dismay of Detroit Red Wing fans.
Well, right. And, players like Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews and others, they're going to have their time. But NHL, trying to compare NHL to anything else is going to be really difficult because the NHL has an issue with that. Yeah. But they know it, too.
Let's go to Quincy. Quincy, you got us?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Great. Thank you.
Well, appreciate it. Love your show.
Thank you.
Anyway, I just wanted to make a comment on this Mike Trout situation. I think Manfred is stepping over his boundaries a little bit as far as getting into these players' personal life. Just like the previous caller, he made some good points. Like when King Griffey was playing, it was a different time, and baseball went out on their own and promoted him. They never went public and criticized him like this guy Manfred's doing to Mike Trout. This is ridiculous. He needs to focus in on baseball, making it better, clean it up, concentrate on the steroids or whatever he's supposed to do as a commissioner.
Well, hold on. His job as a commissioner includes growing the game, and I'm going to defend him here a little bit. This has kind of been a topic. If he is asked about Mike Trout's popularity and he tells this story, is there anything wrong with that?
No, it's not, but I think they should do that behind closed doors.
Okay.
He
didn't have to say why. You're right. Gator's right about that. You're right. He didn't have to say why. He chose to basically say that Trout is not a participant in what we want to do from a marketing perspective.
And that was kind of raggedy on his part as far as going public. I think he should have talked to Mike Trout personally behind closed doors and his agent itself.
I think he owes him an apology.
Pardon?
I think he owes Mike Trout an apology.
I do too. I agree. And keep his mouth shut publicly anyway.
Yeah.
I don't mind him talking about the development in the game. I think he should be talking about marketing of the game.
He should be, but he shouldn't mention Mike Trout's name in any way other than saying, we need to do a better job of marketing Mike Trout. That's all he has to say. He doesn't need to justify it and let everybody into on why it's not working in his mind. For people who missed it,
this was the quote that has people upset. Player marketing requires one thing for sure, the player. You cannot market a player passively. You cannot market anything passively. You need people to engage with those to whom they are trying to market in order to have effective marketing. We are very interested in having our players be more engaged and having higher profile players and helping our players develop their individual brand. But that involves the player being actively engaged. Mike's a great, great player and a really nice person, but he's made certain decisions and what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do and how he wants to spend his free time and how he doesn't want to spend his free time. That's up to him. If he wants to engage and be more active in that area, I think we could help him make his brand really, really big. But he has to make that decision that he's prepared to engage in that area if it takes time and effort. 248-539-9797.